Welcome to Recap King. In this video, we will explain Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This movie tells the story of a young boy from an impoverished family and 4 other kids who win a tour of a fantastic chocolate factory run by an imaginative chocolatier. Which of these 5 kids will be the winner and inherit the grandest chocolate factory in the world? Let's find out in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory begins when a little boy named Charlie Bucket is watching chocolate delivery trucks come out of a chocolate factory in his town. Charlie comes from a very low-income family. He lives with 6 other members, his father, mother, 2 grandmothers, and 2 grandfathers. His house, located on the edge of the city, looks almost collapsed. Their room was so small that the 4 grandparents had to sleep in the same bed facing each other. The food they eat every day is cabbage. Charlie's father worked in a toothpaste factory for a very small salary. One night, Charlie's father brings some broken toothpaste caps for the Wonka chocolate factory miniature that Charlie has made. Hearing this, one of Charlie's grandfathers, Grandpa Joe, said that he had seen Willy Wonka when he worked at the chocolate factory a few years ago. Grandpa Joe then continued his story that Wonka started his business by selling chocolate on the roadside in the past. Due to the high demand from customers from all over the world, he built a very magnificent chocolate factory. Wonka then received an invitation from an Indian prince to build a chocolate palace in his country. Because of the hot weather in India, the chocolate palace that was very beautiful finally melted. The Indian prince then asked Wonka to return to India and build the next chocolate palace. However, Wonka at that time was facing a problem. The competitors are jealous of his success. They then sent a spy to steal his secret chocolate recipe. Not long after, many other chocolate variants appeared on the market using Wonka's chocolate recipe. As a result, Wonka fired all of its employees and his chocolate factory closed for good. Charlie tells Grandpa Joe that the Wonka chocolate factory has reopened. Grandpa Joe then notices that smoke billowing out of Wonka's chocolate factory. However, he wondered why he and his friends who had worked at the chocolate factory had not been called back to work. He also doesn't know who works in the chocolate factory. Even Wonka has never been seen leaving the factory. Grandpa Joe hoped to see the factory again because, according to him, the factory was extraordinary. One night, several people were seen riding bicycles out of the Wonka factory and pasting announcement flyers on the city's electricity poles. The following day, many people read the announcement written on the flyer. It turned out that Willy Wonka announced that he would invite 5 children to visit his factory, and he promised that one of them would get a special gift. 5 golden tickets have been tucked into Wonka chocolates, which have been distributed to various countries. Since the announcement, crowds of people from all over the world have stormed the shop and bought Wonka chocolates, hoping they would get their hands on the golden ticket. Charlie was hoping to buy Wonka's chocolate and get the golden ticket, but he knew there was little chance of getting the golden ticket because he would only get 1 Wonka chocolate bar on his birthday. However, Charlie's birthday is next week. Through a TV show, Charlie's family learns that a fat boy named Augustus from Germany has found a golden ticket. He is a greedy child and loves chocolate. The second ticket has also been found by a British girl named Veruca. She is a spoiled child from a wealthy family. Her father owned a peanut factory and asked the employees to stop peeling the peanut shells just to open hundreds of thousands of boxes of Wonka chocolates to get the golden ticket. While watching TV shows, Charlie's parents came into the house and brought a Wonka chocolate as a birthday present for Charlie. All the family members were impatient and asked Charlie to open the chocolate. Unfortunately, when he opened it, he did not find the golden ticket in the chocolate. Although a little disappointed, Charlie still smiled and shared pieces of his chocolate with all his family members. The next day, Charlie reads in a newspaper while walking down the highway that the 3rd golden ticket has been found. He ran home and asked his father to watch a TV show. The 3rd golden ticket has been found by a blonde girl named Violet from Atlanta. She is a Taekwondo child athlete who has received many awards. She is also the world's longest-serving gum chewer. Furthermore, the 4th golden ticket has been found by a boy named Mike from Colorado. He is a very genius but arrogant child and likes to play video games. With his genius, he analyzed which store the golden ticket was in. His prediction was correct because he found the golden ticket just by buying 1 chocolate bar. After watching TV, Charlie, wondering why his father is always at home and not working. Finally, he finds out that his father has been fired from the toothpaste factory. The factory decided to increase its production using robots and sophisticated machines. As a result, Charlie's father was fired from his job. A few days later, Charlie is seen standing in front of Wonka's chocolate factory again. On his way home, he found a money on the snow-covered road. He immediately ran to the store and bought a Wonka chocolate bar. After paying for the chocolate at the cashier, he immediately opened the chocolate. To his surprise, he found a golden ticket from the chocolate package he had just bought. Seeing this, the people in the shop persuaded him to sell the golden ticket. Some even had the guts to pay $500 to get Charlie to sell the golden ticket. However, the shop owner told him to take the golden ticket and go home quickly. He ran fast towards his house. Arriving at the house, Charlie showed the golden ticket to his family. He gave the ticket to his father and they read the announcement written on the ticket that the ticket owner was invited to come to the Willy Wonka factory on February the 1st at 10 a.m. Ticket holders are only allowed to bring one companion. Grandpa Joe was overjoyed to take Charlie to see the chocolate factory. However, Charlie decided that he would not go to the chocolate factory and sell the golden ticket because he knew his family needed more money. Hearing this, Charlie's other grandfather advises that there is a lot of money being printed every day, but there are only 5 gold tickets available in the world as access to see the Wonka chocolate factory. Finally, Charlie agreed to go to the chocolate factory with Grandpa Joe. The long-awaited day has arrived. Hundreds of people and the 5 ticket winners and their companions were standing waiting in front of the factory. Exactly at 10, the factory was opened. The 5 winners and their companions enter the factory. They were greeted with a moving puppet show. Then fireworks came out and burned the dolls. The winners who saw the show felt strange about the puppet show. Not long after, Willy Wonka was already standing beside them and invited them to enter the factory. In the first part, they are led to a door to enter a room where there is a stunning garden and everything in the garden is made of chocolate. Wonka then invites his guests to enjoy all that is available in the garden because everything can be eaten. The greedy Augustus immediately devoured everything and he did not stop devouring the chocolates near him. Not long after, Veruca pointed at the dwarves who were working in the garden. There are so many of them and their faces are the same. Charlie was curious and asked Wonka who the dwarves were. Wonka then replied that they were the Oompa Loompa tribe imported directly from Loompa Land. A few years ago, he went to Loompa Land to look for new exotic flavor variants for his candy products. The Oompa Loompa tribe lives in trees to avoid dangerous animals. The tribe only eats green silkworms. The Oompa Loompa people like cocoa beans, but they can only find 3 or 4 cocoa beans in a year. Since cocoa beans are the main ingredient for making chocolate, Wonka then invites them to work in the factory with compensation that they will get cocoa beans. They agreed and the Oompa Loompa tribe worked for Wonka at the chocolate factory. Suddenly Augustus' mother screamed because her son had fallen in the chocolate river. It wasn't long before they saw Augustus sucked in by a chocolate suction tube. Then, some Oompa Loompas came out and sang. The lyrics of the song tell the story of the greedy Augustus. After singing, Wonka asks Oompa Loompa to take Augustus' mother to meet her son. The tour of the factory was continued. Guests were asked to ride a boat with colorful decorations rowed by Oompa Loompa. While boarding the boat, Charlie asks if Wonka remembers his childhood experiences. Wonka's face immediately changed as Charlie's question reminded him of his childhood. The scene switches to Wonka's childhood on Halloween. He goes around with his friends to get candy from the neighbors. However, when he got home, Wonka's father, a famous dentist in the city, threw all the candy he got and burned it in the fireplace. Wonka's father hates chocolates and candies. He takes care of Wonka's dental health and hygiene. He even put in very old-fashioned braces for Wonka. The scene switched back to the boat into a tunnel. As they pass through the tunnel, Wonka explains what rooms are in the factory. Then the boat stopped at the invention room. There are new discoveries for confectionery and chocolate variants are being tested. Wonka invites the guests to look around but they are forbidden to touch any objects in the room. They looked at tested inventions such as candy canes that last all year round and hair growth gums. Next, they looked at chewing gum that made people full. This chewing gum contains 3 servings of food made so that people will no longer have to cook. Violet was tempted to eat it. Wonka warns that the gum has not been completely tested. However, Violet, who is the record holder for the world's longest chewing gum, feels challenged and ignores Wonka's warning. She then chewed the gum. Unexpectedly, strangeness occurred because Violet's entire body turned purple and swelled up like a blueberry. It wasn't long before the Oompa Loompa came to sing. The song's lyrics contain allusions to Violet, a girl who is selfish and always chews all day long. Violet, whose body was already round and enlarged, was rolled into the juice room and her mother followed. Next, they went into the nut sorting room to see a trained squirrel sorting and peeling nuts. Seeing the cute squirrels, Veruca asked her father to bring the squirrel home. Because of his daughter's whining, Veruca's father asked Wonka and wanted to buy one of these squirrels, but Wonka said the squirrels weren't for sale. Annoyed that her wish was not granted, Veruca went down the stairs and walked over to the squirrels to the center of the room. Unexpectedly, all the squirrels who had been busy working suddenly turned their bodies and attacked her by tapping her head, thinking that her head was a poor quality nut. The squirrels dragged Veruca into the garbage can. Oompa Loompa then appeared to sing a song whose lyrics were about Veruca, who's being spoiled and going into the garbage disposal. Not long after, Veruca's father followed into the garbage canal. The trip around the factory was continued. Wonka invited the guests to enter the elevator, which can move very fast in all directions. They saw the Chocolate Mountain, the Puppet Hospital, and the administrative center from inside the elevator. While in the elevator, there is an argument between Mike and Charlie about what they saw. Suddenly, from Mike's words, Wonka recalled the memory of his father saying that his son would not be the one to make chocolate. At the end of the flashback memory, Wonka runs away from home to the World Candy Center in Switzerland. Then when he returned from Switzerland, he could not see his father again. In the elevator, Mike is interested in seeing the television room and asks Wonka to press the elevator button leading to it. They quickly reach the room. They were asked to wear sunglasses because the light in the room could damage their eyes. In that room, it was seen that an experiment was being carried out to send chocolate to television channels. They can see a huge bar of chocolate being picked up by several Oompa Loompas and sent through a large pipe attached to the room's roof. Suddenly the chocolate disappeared and then appeared in another place with a smaller size, and they could see the chocolate through the television screen. Then Wonka told Charlie to take the chocolate by sticking his hand into the television. Seeing what happened, Mike immediately ran towards the pipeline. Then he jumped and pressed the button so that he could switch to the television channel. Not long after that, Mike disappeared and Wonka sent an Oompa Loompa to find him by changing the television channel. Mike was then seen in news broadcasts on television with a smaller size. Oompa Loompa then sang with lyrics that forbid children from approaching the television because television can damage the senses in their heads. Then, Mike's father put his hand into the television and took Mike, who had shrunk to a dwarf. Oompa Loompa escorted them out to leave the room. Finally, Wonka greets Charlie because he is the winner. Then they got back in the elevator, shot up and flew out of the factory. From the elevator hovering in the sky, Charlie could see the guests who had entered the factory starting to leave one by one. First, Augustus, whose body was filled with dark brown liquid, came out with his mother, followed by Violet, whose body returned to its normal size but still purple and supple, walking with her mother. Behind her, he saw Veruca and her father, where their bodies were filled with garbage, and finally Mike, who was seen became very tall but his body was thin like a piece of paper, walking out with his father. Then Wonka drove Charlie home in his flying elevator. Arriving at Charlie's house, Wonka announces that Charlie will become the heir to Wonka's chocolate factory and invites Charlie to live in his chocolate factory. However, Charlie refuses because he does not want to leave his family. For Charlie, family is very important in his life. This makes Wonka sad, so he goes back to the factory using the elevator. Charlie's family life is getting better day by day. His father got a job again as a technician repairing machines at the factory where he used to work. Charlie also gets a part-time job as a shoe shiner. When he was cleaning the shoes of one of his customers, it turned out that the customer was Wonka. Wonka then asked Charlie what he would do if he felt sad. Charlie replied that the family was the place to complain when he was sad. Charlie then asks Wonka to meet his father to know what family means in his life. Wonka wants to see his father as long as Charlie stays with him. Not long after, they departed by using the elevator and arrived at Wonka's father's house. There, Wonka pretended to have his teeth checked. While waiting in the waiting room, Charlie saw that Wonka's father had been collecting all the news about Wonka and had it displayed in the room at his house. This proves that Wonka's father is very proud of his son. Wonka's father was quite surprised when he examined Wonka's teeth in the dental examination room because he had never seen teeth this good and clean except for his son's teeth. Finally, he realized that the patient he was examining was his son. They hugged awkwardly. At the end of the story, Wonka finally becomes close to Charlie's family. They sit together at dinner. Charlie and Wonka look happy because Charlie got the inheritance rights to Wonka's chocolate factory, while Wonka is happy because he finally got a family. The film ends.